Hi guys, welcome to some more Real Talk Dog Talk. I'm Tori.
And I'm Barb.
For those of you who haven't joined us before, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at realtalkdogtalk@yahoo.com.
And if you are a regular listener and or emailer, we love hearing from you. Keep those emails coming in. Now, speaking of emails,
Okay.
we got one that I had to pull out. It actually is directed to you, Tori.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah. It said, Tori, I was listening to your last episode and I heard you say that you don't like kids. I thought you had kids, or are you just a paw parent?
Well, okay, I should be more specific. I have one child who I love very much. Let me just make that clear. I love him to pieces. He's got a couple friends that are okay too, but they're just kids are a lot. Okay, that's all. You know, paw parent as well. Love my kid, love my dogs. But I was maybe a little harsh with that statement. So I apologize for that. Yes.
So you like your kid?
Mainly mine.
Mainly.
I'll be honest. Yes. Okay. Yes. So, and a select few.
Well, I had to pull that one out because generally we don't get them directed to one of us specifically. It's usually emails to both of us, but that one was all about you.
Well, let me just say, I feel targeted.
You were.
I was.
You were.
Shoot.
Yes. And then, so I have a couple things I wanted to talk about before we go into our topic for the week.
Okay.
One thing I want to remind folks, it's becoming a bigger problem all the time. And Primo Corso Kennels put a post on their Facebook page about it, but be aware of leaving your dogs unattended. There are a lot of people out there that are stealing dogs, whether it be for breeding or they just can't afford their own or who knows what. But make sure to have them microchipped, and, outside time should always be monitored.
Yes. People will snatch them right out of a fenced yard. I mean, they're...
Yeah, puppies are especially vulnerable because they like everybody mostly.
Right.
But we just wanted to put that warning out there so everyone is keeping their dogs secure, safe in the house when no one's around, maybe.
Especially with this nice weather where it's easy to just put them outside and let them be out there.
Right.
Definitely want to make sure you're at least checking on them and have decent area for them.
Well, and there's more people out walking around too, and kind of not as noticeable if someone's outside. If it's 50 below, people aren't going to be walking past your yard and snatching your dog, but
right.
More likely when it's nicer weather. So we just want to put that warning out there to make sure to keep an eye on those pooches, and don't want anyone having that kind of heartbreak this summer or any summer.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Okay, and we've been kind of targeting yard safety this summer.
Yeah.
It's just starting off, and some of the stuff is things that we encounter and some is just stuff we research. But this last week I had an incident happen, and I was out in my yard with Jojo the puppy and Poppy. And if you look at our Facebook at all at Primo Corso Kennels, you'll see that they're two young pups. They're 3 months old, and Poppy, who is appropriately named, was hopping around the yard, and she fell into a hole that a larger dog had dug. I really hadn't thought anything of it. There's, a few holes around the yard. They dig a hole and lay in the cool dirt. I didn't even think about it, but she actually hurt her back left foot falling in that hole.
Yeah.
And we're kind of watching that right now to see how serious it is, if it persists, or, maybe she stubbed a toe. I don't know.
Which, if you do look at the Facebook and Primo Corso Kennels Facebook, you will see photos that exhibit her Flight, yes. Soaring personality.
Yeah, she doesn't really think things through. She just kind of goes.
She does.
Kind of like her dad. But yeah, so watch out for those. And actually for yourself.
Right.
You don't want to be walking through your yard and hurt an ankle or something, stepping in those holes. I hadn't even thought of that as a safety issue till Poppy fell in that hole. So just mentioning that as a safety tip for your yards. Make sure that all holes are refilled.
Yes. Who would have thought?
It was a shock to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of it either, actually.
Yes.
So technically, I guess this could be yard safety, depending on your area.
Mm-hmm.
Skunks.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Outdoor safety for sure.
Yeah. Skunks are running rampant right now, and I'll tell you what, dogs will try and make friends or, hunt them if it's the right kind of dog. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Tucker.
Oh,
Cody's dog would go after skunks and raccoons. He would kill them.
How many times did he get sprayed?
I don't know.
A lot, I would guess.
And I don't even know. I'd have to ask Cody on that one. But
ugh. Man. Well, that doesn't surprise me. He
is not big, but he is mighty.
There we go. Yes, he's gonna get him. So, if that does happen, first and foremost, don't bring him inside. Okay, don't do it because you're gonna end up. Your whole house is gonna stink. You're gonna stink. Your kids are gonna stink. Everybody's gonna smell bad, and then actually, that smell, if you don't get it out properly, can last for weeks. So I hope you like the smell.
Well, actually, when you kids were growing up, the boys would go on these nature walks in the cornfields that were adjacent to our yard, and they got sprayed a couple of times. They had Ivan, our Great Pyrenees, with.
Yes.
And they got sprayed a couple times.
We, I think, didn't we try tomato juice for that? Or
it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
No, we did try it.
I remember the tub full of tomato. So that was an interesting experience, to say the least, for sure.
Yeah, and actually I found out at that time that when a skunk sprays a white dog, like Ivan, it's a green splotch on their head.
Yum.
Well, or wherever they spray him.
Yeah.
But he had come walking up to the house, kind of loping up to the house, and he'd have a green dot on the top of his head.
So you knew from afar what had already happened.
He got sprayed.
That is, which actually, skunks, that spraying is actually their last ditch effort to get you away from them. They'll pretty much do anything else besides spray until they have to. They stomp their feet, hiss. They'll just raise their tail to try and deter them, defend themselves. If that doesn't work, then they will spray, and they can actually aim their glands to spray different directions as well. Actually,
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a stomping skunk.
In real life, I have not. On TV, Daytrick was watching. It was an animal show of some sort, but these people had a pet skunk actually. And they had removed those glands so they couldn't, so it couldn't spray anymore. And that thing would stomp and run after their dog, and the dog would play with it. They were actually friends, but it was kind of cute if you can not think about the smelly end of it.
Some people think skunks are cute. I don't really.
I don't either. I mean, they're not as bad as, like bats and stuff like that, but still, I don't know. Not exactly the cutest animal I've ever seen. And actually, one thing I did find out that I actually wouldn't have even thought of, they only have a limited amount of spray. So once they spray, that's got to build back up. So you got about a day till you get sprayed by that same one again.
I
So,
wonder how they refill those.
I should have looked that part up. I'm not real sure on that part, but yeah, once they shoot that one spray, it takes a while for them to get more. So it gives you time to run anyway. So you can at least...
if people had that and they got cranky and they sprayed, man,
This be a smelly world.
yeah, living with you it would be.
It would. I'll be honest. It would. I have to keep a stockpile of the body spray, okay? But so that gives you a chance, like I said, it gives you a chance to run. They do also spray during mating season.
Oh, that's it. So it's like a marking or...
A marking, they can use it for, like, when they're fighting the other male, things like that. So it's I'm not sure what mating season is for skunks, what time of year that is, but...
I didn't look at that.
No, you know what? I just try and stay away from them anyhow, so... I could look it up. We could do a part 2 on skunks. And see, because there was details on the glands in the butt.
Well, if this were real talk, skunk talk, we could do that,
Yeah.
But since it's not, I guess we don't really care.
All right. But if your dog does happen to get sprayed, you want to make sure, check if it was see if they got sprayed in their face. You want to check their eyes, their mouth, for any way they could have possibly ingested the spray. It actually can cause temporary blindness and actually quite a few symptoms. So after they're sprayed, you want to kind of monitor their physical health for 1 to 3 days, depending on where they got sprayed. If they didn't get sprayed in the face, you want to make sure you're looking for skin irritation and things like that. That you may need to go to the vet if the irritation persists. And so if they're showing signs of lethargy, weakness, they don't have much of an appetite, they may have swallowed some of the spray or inhaled it. Some of the immediate symptoms are eye irritation. You're going to be red, burning. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how your dog would tell you that, but I'm going to assume if they're red, they're itchy. That's what I would assume.
Well, I would imagine rubbing it, anything. I know when my dogs have itches, they just flip upside down and wiggle on the ottoman.
That's what Tito does. He also rubs his face along the couch, or he's kind of like a cat in that sense.
Yeah, he looks like a cat. As soon as I walk in, I think that,
I know.
He looks like a cat.
They're like twinsies.
I know.
He's a crazy dog, I'll tell you.
Just for the record, he's a Cane Corso.
Yeah.
A.K.A. Cane Corso.
That's right. He's,
not cat-like.
No, not even a little. But he thinks he's a cat, I think. Maybe in a past life, he may have been a cat. Also, oral discomfort, the drooling, nausea, vomiting. Keep an eye on that, and that can cause other problems, dehydration, weight loss if it goes on for long enough. But you want to make sure that's, especially when it's hot out too. Respiratory discomfort, so that's sneezing, coughing. nasal irritation,
Well, I think if you see any signs of any kind of extended period of time irritation going on, it's a really good time to contact your vet. It's always good to do research, what you can on the internet, but you should never really replace vet care with internet information because, much to my chagrin, not everything on the internet is true. So, it's great to do the best you can with the research you find, but, never replace your vet care with internet information.
Right. Exactly. And with your dogs rolling on the ground, if they're rolling on the ground, sneezing, rubbing their face, all that, even the rolling, got to keep an eye out for that. That could be skin irritation. And if any of these symptoms are, more severe, you definitely want to make sure that you're taking them to the vet. There are some, in rare cases, there are some fairly serious symptoms. One of them is anemia, actually. Which, that kind of surprised me because I thought, wow.
So that'd be kind of a long-term reaction to it, not so immediate.
Right, yes.
I don't know how that would... I think in terms of anemia... Gosh, I don't know how that works with skunk spray, because I've seen, at the vet clinic, we've had dogs come in that are anemic and they have flea issues, and they can draw so much blood out, the fleas can draw so much blood out of them. I mean, it has to be a pretty bad infestation, but if they do have that, it can cause anemia because the fleas are feeding off them. But I'm not sure how anemia would play into getting sprayed by a skunk.
Well, and I thought that it's kind of an interesting thing, too, which I didn't go too into depth, but I have kind of an answer.
Well, that's more than I got.
The skunk spray actually can damage the red blood cells, which causes the anemia.
Really?
Yes. So that is some pretty serious spray. It's an oily, nasty spray. It doesn't come off easily. I mean, the smell itself is awful, but then you really get into it, and it can be quite harmful if it ingested or not removed quickly enough as well. So it's definitely so if your dog is showing any symptoms of not feeling well, get them to the vet. There is also a thing called skunk toxic shock syndrome. That is also damage to the red blood cells, weakness, pale gums, and vomiting. And that can be deadly. So, again, that's some serious stuff. And always check with your vet. If you're unsure and you're just not, you don't know if you should, probably just take them in.
Yeah. Or
call. I mean, I would probably just take them in, but...
When in doubt, yep.
Yes. So, one of the most common DIY smell removers.
Other than tomato juice?
Other than tomato juice, yes. I tried to find, I looked for not tomato juice ones. And actually, it was interesting when I first put that, or looked into it, I didn't see tomato juice, so they must have, ixnayed on that a while ago or something.
I'm not the only person that found out it was a crock.
Yeah, I think so. So, tomato juice is a no-go. And I gotta say, Dawn dish soap in general, but, Dawn and those birds for the oil spills, it'll help with skunk oil too, I guess. So
I wonder if that's because it's oily base.
I would think so, yeah. The dish soap just kind of cuts through it. So you want to wash them with some dish soap and get some baking soda in there, scrub it all together, wash them up really good for about 5 minutes, and then add peroxide. That will help cut through the oily chemicals from the spray.
Okay.
So when you add the peroxide, you want to get that in there really good with the dish soap and the baking soda. So you want all this stuff on at the same time. And you're going to, scrub them up real good, get that stuff all mixed in together really well, and then let that sit for about 15 minutes or so. And then rinse with vinegar.
As a owner of a few young dogs, having them sit like that for 15 minutes seems a bit daunting.
I mean, I actually, when I was writing this down, I thought the same thing, because I don't even think Enzo and Jim would sit for 15 minutes.
It'd be tough.
Yeah.
Even if you got them all, covered with it and everything, and let them go out in the yard or something, I mean, my dogs would roll that off.
Oh, yeah.
So that'd be tricky. I mean, I get why they're saying it, but that would be a tough one.
It really would. And, it's, I mean, maybe you do, I don't know, a cable, hooking them up to, but I'm not sure how you do that. It'd be...
I suppose you could get a steak and feed it to them bite by bite in the bathtub.
You could. I don't think the peanut butter on your forehead would work for this.
No, it wouldn't last long enough.
No. So, however you'd end up making that work, which rinsing with vinegar, I will say it's a different type of bad smell. So, I will say I'd probably rather smell vinegar than skunk, though.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of... I mean, I am... In my head, I think the vinegar mixed with the skunk smell could be bad, but I don't know if it neutralizes it. I guess so. But I don't know. That makes me wonder.
Yeah, well...
They do have a product called Skunk Off.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how effective that is. Honestly, I haven't run into too many skunk issues since my children grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Although Tucker did come home smelling like a skunk one time. Cody used to live about a mile from me, and sometimes Tucker would just come over to my house.
I'm going to visit Grandma, bye.
Yeah, and he did come over smelling like a skunk a time or so, and I just didn't let him in.
Right.
He wasn't, my dog, so I just sent him back to Cody.
I woulda. He probably just let him swim in a ditch a few times and rinse himself off that way or something.
Yeah, I don't think Cody was as bothered by it as probably I was, but yeah, so I don't know. I guess it's the Skunk Off, I've never tried it. I know some vets sell it, but I don't know. I'd be more inclined to try a DIY. I do think baking soda is great for cutting odor.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's helpful.
Well, I do wonder, what if you stopped at the peroxide? The dish soap and the baking soda and then the peroxide. What if you just cut the vinegar out? Maybe that would work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And what kind of vinegar? What are we talking?
White vinegar. Not even the apple cider vinegar.
I don't know about the vinegar part, but the rest of it makes sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah. So all that stuff, none of that's, you don't want them eating it, but it's not bad for your dog. So, worth a try. And, there are other options out there. People talk about using just the peroxide and the baking soda, which I guess I kind of see that because, it gets bubbly and I could see that possibly cutting through the oil, but...
I could see the Dawn cutting through the oil.
Yeah. That I, and I almost wonder too, would dish soap on its own work? Maybe not 100%, but that's pretty, dish soap does wonders.
Well, I always worry about these cleaners on my dog's paws out in the kennel building.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, what their feet are absorbing into their system.
Mm-hmm.
So Primo Corso Kennels always tries to, do the best they can for the dogs. And for those floors, they use Dawn dish soap and baking soda.
Yeah, there you go.
And little bit leery of the disinfectants just because of their paws being in full contact with it all the time.
Right.
So, it's not like they're just passing through. That's, their home.
Yeah, that's the floor they're on. So, and keep an eye on labels for that stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have warning labels on different stuff. And, it's the same, their paw pads, it's the same thing as, people absorbing things through their skin. So it's very possible for that to be an issue. So definitely something to keep in mind when you're looking for a solution for the skunk spray.
Well, it's not just the spray that you need to be concerned about with, I guess I live in the country. I live in the middle of nowhere. There's not much going on except for wild animals out there. So I think a little bit more in terms of, there being a lot of that wildlife around. And with skunks, I'm also always cautious with rabies.
Oh, yeah.
And, this was just my method of handling it. I don't know if I would say I'm correct, but I know when my dogs would get, this was back when I worked at the vet clinic, but if my dogs got into a scuffle with a skunk or any critter out there, I would always booster their rabies vaccination.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that they were less at risk. Now, I don't know what your vets would say about doing something like that, but I did it because there's just so much wildlife out there. I just didn't want to lose an animal to rabies. Also, I've always been a multiple pet owner, so if one gets rabies, then I've got a problem with, all of them. So I used to booster my rabies shots, and, that I don't know if that's even a standard thing, but maybe I'm a freak. That's a possibility. But
your dogs don't have rabies.
That's true. My dogs do not have rabies. So, if you have concerns after your dog maybe has a go around with a skunk, you could call your vet and ask, should we have a booster done on that? I always worried about that with Tucker because he was just a hunter dog. He's still alive. I don't know why I said that in the past tense, but he doesn't live out of town, I don't believe, so he's not hunting as much. But still, I always worried because Cody didn't really worry about boostering those rabies shots. But that's just another preventative thing that comes to my mind with vet care, dog care. But you might want to think that through and, check with your vet if that ever occurs where they get into... my dogs don't really get... I have my dogs enclosed. My whole yard is fenced in, so my dogs aren't out there roaming around, but they will even get into a scuffle with another skunk running along the fence back and forth, and the skunk will be outside the fence, and I'll smell a faint aroma arising, and I know they've upset a skunk. Fortunately, they aren't coming in contact with them, and they don't get sprayed because I don't know where the heck the skunk is. You can't even see where they've gone. But, it's all happens outside, so they aren't bringing it in. And I am glad of that. But occasionally, I do have, Ziggy, and he's an escape artist. So I always tell people to check with your vet if a booster is necessary.
Which it's interesting that Ziggy's the escape artist because he's one of the bigger ones. You wouldn't think he'd be the one to do it, but
it's his head.
It is.
He's got a big head.
He does. It's huge.
And then, if he can get that big head through, the rest of it just
oozes through.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like giving birth, but that seemed kind of crude, but
Kinda.
it's kind of true.
It is. But,
Anyhow, but yeah, so for those of you who have naughty dogs like me, that's something to think about too. Actually, ironically, Ziggy is one who's never been bothered by a skunk. So maybe they just see that big head coming and are like, oh, no way, I'm out of here.
it's fine. They can have it.
And they stomp their way out of there.
That's right.
They're like, I'm going this way.
That's too big for me to take.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not... and you've actually had quite a bit of wildlife out there. You had a bobcat one time, I think, didn't you? Was it a bobcat?
Bobcat. I did have a nice little, I know, is the word gaggle? A gaggle of geese.
Yes.
I had ducks.
Yes.
Is it a gaggle of ducks too? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't...
A flock.
A flock?
Maybe they're
It's a
just
flock
a
of
flock.
birds. So, yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. Only the geese are good enough to have their own word, maybe.
Yeah.
But I had this lovely little water area that the ducks absolutely loved, and the fox pretty much, every now and then I just see him taking a duck across the pasture, and little by little I'm out of ducks. So we have fox, we have bobcats,
bear.
You just saw a bear out there the other day.
Yes. That's a big one too. That was a...
We hear the fox chattering at night and sometimes howling. I think it's wolves, but it could be coyotes. I'm not sure.
It's a little tough to say sometimes.
And of course, my dogs like to join in with the howling. So, yeah, there's a lot of wildlife out there, and I'm fine with that, but just have to be more careful with your vaccinations.
Rabies is way, way worse than getting sprayed by a skunk. So...
Although, getting sprayed makes your couch stink, so that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and your dog for some time. So, just make sure you're watching. Watch out for your dogs, okay?
And your couch.
And your couch, because you're going to want to sit on it.
Well, too, I was just thinking of that when I said watch out for your couch, which I was being stupid when I said that, but, sometimes my dogs come into the house like a bull out of a chute or something, and you don't even have time to process, whoa, what is that smell?
Yeah.
As they shoot past you and hop on the couch and do your rolling around, so yeah, stop them at the door.
Yeah, this time of year, don't risk it.
Yeah.
Don't risk it, because that's it. That'll be it for your house.
Well, the other day I had, let's see, it was Ivy and Gabby, it was. We're going around about something outside, and it was a dead bird someone had caught.
Oh.
And they got in a tussle over it, and Bolo got it.
Oh.
And Bolo came running to the house. I was watching the other two because they were just kind of going around. Not a fight, but they were having a disagreement. And went to let Bolo in, and she had something in her mouth, and at the last second, I shut the door, and it was that dead bird. So, yeah, my dogs, I guess I could stack that up with the logs that Gabby brings in. I don't know.
Gosh.
Dead birds and logs.
Well, and dead things are not your thing either, so that's...
If I know they're dead and it doesn't surprise me, I can handle it.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
When you come upon it, it's like, woo!
It's a good thing she didn't set that on the ottoman, the infamous ottoman.
Yeah, afraid that ottoman's seen better days. It may be on its way out. I don't know where the dogs are going to lay if that goes.
I don't know. It's pretty much a hammock now.
It is. It's pretty saggy in the center.
It's kind of funny, just because I think they're gonna sit in that thing till it caves all the way through.
Yep.
So
bottoms out.
That's right. So
again, we want to remind you that if you do have concerns after a skunk incident, whether it be, a full-on fight or, just getting sprayed, if you're uncomfortable and don't know how to assess the situation, always contact your vet or professionals in your area. And, the internet's a great place to get tips and do some research. But make sure to contact your vet and get the right medical guidance on that so you don't have long-term damage to your dog or irreversible. My tongue got stuck on that one. But anyhow, so check with your vet on things.
Always. And again, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at realtalkdogtalk@yahoo.com or comment down below and hit that follow button, people.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you will be here for our next episode.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.